Our next speaker is someone who has brought the issue of nature and city in New York City to life more visually and more exciting, very exciting way through very visually stunning maps. His name is Eric Sanderson. Recently, he directed the Manhattan Project. The Manhattan Project, a research effort to virtually reconstruct the original ecology of Manhattan Island at the time of European discovery.
Thank you, Christine.
Cities.
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 Beer.
Város. Bia.
Cidade.
Ciudades.
Cities.
As some sort of monster or predator that comes from some artificial place, maybe from another planet. It's sort of the War of the Worlds view of how cities fit into nature. And I think this year we could hear that idea cracking. So I think the point of all this is to try and capture the imagination.
How do we get ahead as a society of long-term challenges that by their very nature do not require, even though they really need, but they do not demand, short-term action? Politicians tend not to do long-term planning. They tend to do short-term planning because, of course, in electoral politics, the key question is not what will you have done for me by 2030, but rather what have you done for me lately. If you're going to fit another 1 million residents into New York City, you can't put them in Bayside and in Marine Park and in Tottenville, because one more resident in those neighborhoods means one more car on the roads, and in fact, even worse, one more car parked on the curb in front of the houses. So this is I have enough neighbor and like And so you have to do it where there's transit. So we came by transit-oriented development, basically whether we wanted it or not. And you can't deal with a 12% increase in traffic in New York City's already congested streets, because the system pretty much breaks down even more than it already has. And so you have to think about a structural shift of people from cars to transit.
lived at the density of Manhattan, then they would live in only 36% of the area. So even if we raise the water up a meter to try and reflect climate change, you could make this landscape look like this instead. You could restore some of the old fields that used to supply the city. New York, most of its history didn't get food from California or from South America. It actually got it from Queens and from Brooklyn and from the Bronx. So we bring that back again, as well as to restore the habitats that will make the estuary work, the salt marshes around the city, and in fact make a city that sits in its region, that sits on a planet that works for everybody.